Hi everyone, welcome back to the Velvet Lounge. Well, today I have something different to talk to you about, and it is finances. Today I was part of a discussion where an individual was talking about how they paid eBay and PayPal almost 40% of their sales this year, well, in 2018. I immediately had little antennas going off, and I was like, wait a minute, how is that possible? And then almost immediately I thought to myself, my God, I know exactly what this person did and why he probably paid that much to those companies. One thing is he did not overpay PayPal. PayPal charges a set fee for collecting money, and that's just what it is. But where he overpaid was with eBay. And the ways that he did that is, one, he had a store subscription that was way too expensive based upon the amount that he was making. So, if you have a huge store subscription, it doesn't, and I know that the reason he had it is because of the number of items he has listed. But if you're not making money on those items, and you're not making not only the money you invested, but the money to pay the expenses, plus the way I do my math, you need to make 3 or 4 times over that because that's your profit. If you're not doing that, then that store subscription is too expensive for you. It's too much. It's too big. And you need to whittle down your inventory versus just looking at how many items you have listed. He needed to look at how much he was selling and, see what that dollar amount was to see if it was worth, listing all these small items. And they weren't small items, but inexpensive items for, the amount that he was paying out every single month for that fee, because they collect their fee every single month, even if you don't make a profit at all. The other thing was, which is my number 2, free postage. He free posted himself to death. So as he free posted himself to death, he was paying for a service for his customers, which is nice, but it's not nice when it's costing you money and you're not making any profit off of the items that you're selling, or you're making very little profit. And that's what happened to him. There's no reason why you should not charge postage. Have maybe 1.5% of our items that are free postage. The rest of them, you charge a postage fee, whether you are here in the United States or in a foreign country. And we sell a lot in foreign countries, and the postage fees, sometimes even I'm taken aback, but people are willing to pay it. We've never had an issue because the fee, the money, prices, whatever, they're up front. So there's nothing that's a surprise. I only had one person over all of these years back out because the postage fee was too high. I actually suggested that he back out. And we ended up selling a giant cathedral geode that weighed, I believe, 70 some odd pounds to someone in Florida instead of sending it to Uruguay. So, it worked out, and it does work out. You can't be afraid to lose a sale because you charge postage. Otherwise, you will be in the same situation, or you may be in the same situation as this guy is. Number 3, oh my God, number 3. Promoted listing fees. This guy is paid and still paying because until we had this conversation, because I actually took it offline because a lot of people were coming at him because they were like, that's not true. How is that possible? This is fake. This isn't, this is a lie. You can't, there's no way you could be paying them almost 40%. I took it offline and gave him some advice information. And, when he told me about the fact that he pays quite a bit in promoted listing fees, I was just like, why? I didn't ask him why. Internally in my soul, I was like, why? Why do people get into these trends, or what they, it's like another issue that he has, which is my next point that'll be coming up. But I'm like, why do, these companies offer something and, my God, you don't even have to bait the hook before everybody is, hooked up with it. It's like crazy. And the promoted listing fees or promoted listings were intended for items that are very expensive, rare, but will sell for a really amazing price when they finally sell, or even, items that cost more, but it might take a little more effort to sell them. He has so many items, and I've seen this with a lot of people. He's not the only one. eBay is getting rich off of this promoted listing thing. He has so many items that are under $20 and have promoted, and they're promoted. He's paid, when those items sell, he will pay a promoted listing fee for them, as well as any other fees that are associated with it. The good thing is, no, you don't pay anything, to promote the item initially, but the moment it sells, guess what? You're on the hook. You have to pay the additional money on top of all of your other fees, on top of your store subscription fees, for any excess items that are not covered by that store agreement that you have. Anything over that, you have to pay for when that item sells. So he has a lot of sales. He has a ridiculous amount of feedback. Like all of that is good. What's bad is the math, and what's bad is his return on investment, or ROI, is so far off. And those are the top 3 reasons why. The other 3 reasons I'm going to give you for his issues as well as others. My number 4, and I said this was coming up, and this is another one that, it's flabbergasting, is the race to the bottom. I call it the nosedive to the bottom, as far as pricing goes. If you are selling common items and you are pricing them super low so that you can get the sale, I actually saw something the other day that most people were selling for like $14, $15. This person was selling it through an auction, which was okay. Maybe you'll get it. Who knows? Everyone else is doing buy it now. But they were selling it for 99 cents with free shipping through an auction. They had 0 watchers on it. And when the item finally sold, I bought it for $3 and some change with free shipping. And the other reason that I bought it that was different from the other listings is the container it came in was a Victorian container, complete. It's like something you would have used for traveling back in the day. It would have gone in a steam trunk, and these people would have been going on long voyages. And the larger container had smaller containers within it. All complete. I couldn't believe it. They weren't even discussing the fact that that was part of the auction. However, if you read the small print down below, then you would have found that everything in the picture was included. That should have been up in their description line, because if it was, that item would have been taken to another level, as well as the fact that the category was wrong. They were concentrating more on the items that were being held inside of these cases versus the actual case itself with its individual holders. So, you want to also make sure that, when you're racing to the bottom, you're not doing it so fast that you're missing a better opportunity, which is what happened with that particular. I'm actually looking at it over across the room. And yes, I will be reselling that case. That's why I bought it. And so you want to make sure that you're not you're not so fast racing to price your items so low that you're overlooking the ultimate opportunity, as well as the fact that with, the nosedive to the bottom with pricing. What I say is if the item is that common, that popular, and it's not just flying off the shelf. I mean, if everyone is like pricing reasonably and it's flying off the shelf and you want to go a couple dollars lower, that's fine. If you want to go like 50% lower, or even not 50, let's say even 30, 40, whatever. If you want to go, that's too low. You might have to sit there and tell yourself, let me just be real, see what I can get, and I'll see if I have to mark it down later. There's no rush to mark it down immediately. As well as if you see that you've, purchased items that other people have, like there's literally millions of the same exact item out there, hundreds of thousands of them, and you see that and you see that they're not really moving, not really selling, then what you need to do is move on. Do not waste your time listing that item. It is not worth the space that it will take up and the effort to sell it. And most likely you'll end up marking it down to almost nothing, and it still might not sell anywhere ever. The other thing that he has, which is an issue, and a lot of people have this that are reselling on every platform out there. Not all people have it, but a lot, is paying way too much for inventory. It is okay. I had to take a deep breath. It is okay to walk away. It is okay to walk away from buying something. The seller needs you much more than you will ever need him or her. If they're lucky, they might sell the item to someone else. So what? If you're going to overpay for the item, then try to resell it and not make enough, or your ROI is way too low, you wasted your money, your time, the effort. You are probably unhappy at that point. You also are impacting your overall business because you might be harping and dwelling on that loss, as well as you might, miss another opportunity because you're not really concentrating on the task at hand. So it's okay to walk away from those. People are paying way too much at thrift shops, whether it's a corporate one such as Goodwill and Salvation Army, which are for-profit portions of those organizations. Those shops are for profit only. My husband and I were going to sign a contract to do auctions for the Salvation Army. We would have been selling furniture in bulk, clothing in bulk, electronics in bulk, toys in bulk, and then there would have been like miscellaneous pallets. So we would have been auctioning this stuff off by the pallet. The clothes, I believe, were going to be in 500-pound bundles, and it would have just been a bundle of everything. They did separate by men, women, and I think it was like toddlers, babies to toddlers, and then something that was like in between and then kids, and then it was kids. So we were going to do, and then they had appliances as well. We were going to sign a contract with them to auction off, this stuff in bulk, and decided not to because one, after I sat down with the powers that be there, received more information, asked a lot of questions, told them what we were willing to do and not willing to do. At the end of the day, we were probably a pen stroke after talking to our lawyer from signing but I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, one, because I retired at age 44. I know, I don't look that old. I look horrible right now because I'm dressed to go to bed. I have my robe on, my hair is up, no makeup, of course. And I decided I didn't want to be, and we would have done it as a contractor. So we would have been contracting with them, not employed by them, because we didn't need to be employed by them. But when I asked the woman, there were some fellows there, it was ironic, it was only one woman, go figure, but anyway, why they were doing this. And she said, we've had really good luck with resellers. That's really our market now. And I said, but these stores were supposed to be set up to help people that were lower income or just going through a hard time, or, that once in a while came into a thrift shop and, maybe they were looking for something that was outdated, whatever, for whatever purposes. I know a lot of schools would use the thrift shops back in the day. We would use them for props when I was, in theater. And so they were good places for resources for like nonprofits. And she said, well, that's not our market anymore. Our market for our shops and online sales is resellers, because that's, the most of their traffic in their stores, as well as, online. They feel that most of the traffic online is from like collectors. So that, I think that's kind of true. And they think that the traffic coming in the store, which is 100% true, is from people that resell items. And so I adopted this adage, which I call it the gold mining disease. And the reason I call it the gold mining disease is back in the days of gold mining, there were, and even like it could be silver, copper, or whatever, precious metal mining. But gold was really the thing that turned everyone insane. There was, there were a few people. So there were a few people that actually made millions. They hit the mother lode. They became incredibly wealthy, but it was a tiny, tiny percentage of people who did that. However, there was another market of extremely wealthy people because of the craze. And those people were the store shopkeepers. They were the people supplying the supplies, the picks, the shovels, the food, the pans, the flint, the, place for people to stay when they came into town before they went out in the muck and the mire in the mountains and the hills and wherever looking for this treasure. The people that supplied hot meals, that they literally did that. The prostitutes that supplied a special personal service. They were, or it wasn't necessarily prostitutes, it was most likely the madam or whoever was running the house, if you will. But they were wealthy. They became wealthy off of that. And the people actually doing the work were making them wealthy because they were paying them money, trying to live a dream that never ever happened. As a matter of fact, most of them went completely bankrupt. All of their money, their families were ruined. They had to go back in shame with their heads hanging low. So you need to make sure that you are not overpaying for your inventory. There are so many methods to get free inventory, or inventory that cost very little. And I'm talking high quality, higher value items, so that you don't have to concentrate on selling, $12, $14 shirts or whatever it is, or hoping that you sell them. And that's one of this guy's his problems, is that he is willing to go, and I'm going to do a video on how to win at live auctions, like where you're literally in an auction house and you are killing it as far as getting great items for very little money. You do have to pay something, so I will tell you that. However, we actually have gotten free items from auction houses. So, bam, there's one of your free resources. But without having to pay anyone any percentage of anything. So that's the other thing. There were no catches. But he will go to an auction house and he will make sure he's like almost the highest bidder on everything. And he's just not making any money. He's not making enough. And he's doing this, him and his wife, as a living, and they have kids who are in high school. And, are these kids going to, get scholarships to go to college, or do they, qualify for some other thing? I have no idea, but it'll be very difficult in whether it's college or trade school for that to happen, especially if he continues at this rate. The other thing that is an issue for him is he's paying too much for packing materials. Because he sends out so many, and he's one of those people where, you'll see a picture and it'll be like, look, I have I'm making this number up. I don't know what it is, but I have 699 packages over here for the post office. It's like, well, big deal if you're not making enough money. And on top of it, he's having to pay for packaging because he does mail out so much. But there are many, many ways that you can actually obtain free packing materials of all types. And sometimes the packing material itself might have value. That happened to us with a Remy Martin casket and suitcase container that also had the Baccarat crystal decanter thing, what is it called, stopper, in the box still. And I will tell you, one of the resources is your local package stores or liquor stores or wine and spirits, whatever you want to call it. And you just want to make sure you're doing it. And I try to do like of a more higher upscale. Well, where we live in town, that's mostly what we have. And so you want to go there because, first of all, you'll receive better materials. They sell better alcohols and wines and liquors. And also sometimes they will use the actual bottle of spirits as a display, and they don't care about the packaging. And sometimes the packaging is worth almost as much as the spirit is itself. So we have a video out there somewhere where we actually, and I'll see if I can find it, and I will post it below, where we sold those boxes, if you will, the casket in the box, which was called a suitcase, as well as the stopper. And I think we made like $150–$60 just on those. So just by doing something that's better for the environment, and that we were going to recycle and use for our business, we actually made out with that. So you just, want to, so I gave you like 6 issues that this guy had, but I can guarantee you a lot of people have these same issues. And what you want to do is just try to go through and change a couple things. If you just try a couple, and if they don't work as well for you, they're too hard to manage, or I don't know what the issue would be, then try something else. And, just a quick review is look at your store's subscription fee. Is it too high for what you actually are making? Don't look at how many items you can list. That's the trick. That's how eBay got you the first time. Look at, am I making enough money to justify paying this every single month? Look at the postage. Are you, first of all, doing free postage? If so, ask yourself why. Why are you doing that? You make $0. You immediately start with a 0 on that. You start from the bottom with that and need to work your way up. So you need to look at, if that makes any sense for your business. Or are you charging enough for postage? That's another one. Number 3 is the promoted listings. Are you paying for promoted listings? If you're getting them for free, awesome, great. Nothing wrong with that. Make sure you take advantage of it. But if you are paying for promoted listings, You need to stop doing that unless you're promoting items that make sense. Do some research. See, I mean, and you really have to think outside of the box and outside of yourself. You can't sit there and say, yeah, but it makes sense to me. Well, if it made sense, then you would be selling a lot of items for a lot of money. And also, what's your definition of a lot? Is it $10? Is it $12? Is it $22.13? Is it, $54.16? Like, what is it? And come up with a realistic numerical definition for yourself of what that is and abide by it. So, and then I'm going to add number 4, even though I know I had 5, but number 4, and these are just my top 4 out of the 6, is stop nosediving to the bottom. It is not helping your business, and you are making a lot less than you have to. And I'm sorry that I kept looking down and looking all around. I am not used to filming like this. I'm trying something different, and because I look like I'm ready to go to sleep soon, I just wanted to hurry up and get this out there because it's a topic that came out today. I did summarize all of this information on a Facebook post that's out there. And I hope that the person that I gave the advice to, I don't know this person at all. They live so far away from where we do. I hope that it helps him and that he doesn't quit eBay. That's another thing. Don't quit. Just change things. Change them on the fly. If you know what the math is every single week or every single month at a minimum, then there's no need to quit. You just need to change. And if you don't change, that's why you are not going to be successful and why you are paying them instead of them paying you. So take care. Have a good night. Please subscribe to our channel. I know I have to ask. I hate asking, but please subscribe. Please at least give us a thumbs up. Leave your comments down below whether you agree or don't agree with me or have other ideas, but please be respectful. And also, thank you so much for joining the Velvet Lounge and have a good night.